And we are live. Hey, everybody, this is Roberto Blake, helping you create something awesome today. Welcome back to another Friday YouTube channel review session. So, tonight we're going to try to do as many as 10 YouTube channel reviews. We usually do these on Fridays with no guaranteed time. So, thank you for bearing with me on that. If you're watching the replay, you're going to learn a lot about different YouTube channels as we have the reviews submitted via Super Chat. The instructions for that are going to be linked in the description, so you can check that out. Over here on camera 2, I'm going to be reading the live chat, and we're going to see some people pop up in the live chat and request channel reviews, or even just drop by and say hi. So, in the meantime, until we have the channel reviews come in via Super Chat, I can talk to you about some of my thoughts on where YouTube is going for 2025 and my advice for the smaller and newer YouTube channels. I do have a lot of this advice in my book, Create Something Awesome: How Creators Are Profiting from Their Passion in the Creator Economy. So you might want to check that out, Amazon and all the other places that books are sold. But I also have been doing a 12-week series. We've done, I think, 8 weeks so far on this. We should be wrapping up the 12-week series soon when it comes to just helping YouTubers who are under 20,000 subscribers with launching and growing their channels and getting unstuck. And those have been very well received. A lot of you have joined those Wednesday workshops. And it's been very, I think, instructive for a lot of you, according at least to the feedback, both live and on the replays for that. So that's been going really well. What I will say about 2025 is I don't think YouTube's on easy mode. I actually think that YouTube gets more and more competitive. I think that shorts give people a way to overcome the barrier to entry. I think live streams and vertical live streams do that. And I think it really helps for a lot of people. But when it comes to regular, good old fashioned long form YouTube videos in widescreen that are edited, I do not believe in the idea of YouTube easy mode. I do not think people are blowing up for no good reason. I don't think people are blowing up randomly. I think that's extremely, extremely rare. I think a lot of times there's a lot of behind the scenes information, maybe even some behind the scenes wheeling and dealing that we don't know about that launches those things into the stratosphere. I also think that a lot of people are underestimating how much notoriety from Instagram or TikTok plays a role in these low effort YouTube channels taking off. And it's not just about these people having a TikTok or Instagram presence, it's whether or not other people are talking about them that have a large following over there. Word of mouth is actually one of the things that still grows YouTube channels, and almost nobody talks about this. So I do really still believe that there is an opportunity for small YouTubers, but I don't think you could just make any old type of content and be rewarded with attention for it. I think you have to do something that's interesting, unique, special, and well done. And in 2025, I actually believe that we're not at necessarily, aside from YouTube shorts and vertical live streams, I no longer believe we're in the era of the smartphone. What I actually believe and what I'm seeing is that YouTube videos that are long form and are not vertical videos with YouTube shorts or vertical live streams are being watched more and more on television sets. Smart TVs are the future of YouTube. YouTube is dominating streaming right now and is bigger than Netflix, bigger than almost everything. YouTube Premium and YouTube Music combined have 125 million paid subscribers to YouTube Premium. I believe that television sets are really where people are sitting down and watching hours and hours of YouTube videos every day from the comfort of their home, putting on cozy content in the background, putting on podcast and live streams in the background, or even the replays of podcast and live streams in the background, extreme long form is doing better and better. Documentary content is doing better and better. True crime is really popping on YouTube. And I really think, and you guys can tell me what you think in the comments. I think it's a lot of niches. I don't think it's just a narrow gamut of it. I think for a lot of, I think that entertainment content is being watched more and more on televisions. And I believe that how to and education content, if it's not listen only or podcast, is being put on in phones and being watched on computers, laptops, desktops while people work on things. I do believe that that is huge for a lot of people. And I do think that being a multi-format creator is also part of the future of YouTube for the smaller content creators. I believe that YouTube Shorts reaches a casual audience where you can get exposure. And I think you'll get a lot of subscribers off of it, but I don't think it'll translate to your long forms. And I don't think those translate to your live streams. I think that shorts, live streams, and long form videos are all separate audiences. And it doesn't matter what kind of content you're doing for the most part. I'm coaching 10 gaming channels right now. Gaming channels are basically your default for a lot of entertainment, YouTube, and those type of channels if you want to know what's going on. And the truth is that for the gaming channels, their shorts viewers don't watch their long form, and their long form viewers, most of them don't watch their live streams. The most cross contamination between formats that I think I see is 5 to 10%. That's it. For every format, 90% of your audience will only watch that one thing. So for your shorts, 90% of your shorts viewers, they're only watching shorts. They have no interest in your long form content. There's almost no point in linking to it for the most part. If you're not doing podcast where it makes sense to link from a snippet to a full interview, then it's almost like don't bother. The same thing, there's a better overlap between regular viewers of long form videos and live streams. However, it's not that big of an overlap. It's usually only as much as 10%. And I'm not talking about just my channel and my analytics. I'm literally looking at more than 40, 50 YouTube dashboards that I have access to. I can't show you those dashboards because I don't have those people's permissions to share them publicly, but seeing it over and over and over again. And so yeah, your shorts people, not necessarily watching your long form videos and not necessarily watching your live streams. I think every one of those formats, you're building a different audience. Now, the thing is, you shouldn't worry about that because nobody should be looking at view to sub ratio or how many views they should be expecting because of their subscriber count. That's not a thing. It's something YouTubers in the culture made up 10 years ago or more, 10 or more years ago, maybe 15 years ago in 2010s. And it doesn't matter. View to subscriber ratio is nonsense. It's BS that YouTubers came up with. I've talked to YouTube engineers. They don't care about it. It doesn't matter in the algorithm. Subscribers don't matter in the algorithm. Subscribers matter for social proof, unlocking and gatekeeping features, access to brand programs, sponsorships, and higher levels of collaboration and getting invited to events. That's what subscribers do to you. Subscribers are for social proof, status, and unlocking features that have gatekeeping behind them. There's no algorithmic benefit or penalty to having a bunch of subscribers, and your views have nothing to do with how many subscribers you have. So, it is what it is. So, when YouTubers say subscribers don't matter, that's what YouTubers are talking about. YouTubers just mean that subscribers don't get you more views on videos. The plan today is to do channel reviews for anyone who submits for them. If we don't, we'll just talk about analytics for a bit, but I can show you something. Let's see. Actually, I can bring this up. So for the lifetime of my YouTube channel, with 43 million views, 600,000 subscribers, and nobody will show you this. But for my channel, if I go and I look at like subscriber status, for example, let's see, where is the metric I'm looking for? Ah, here we go. If I look at lifetime views from subscribers, 80% of my views over the lifetime of my entire channel never, ever came from subscribers. That just like is not something that ended up happening. And so this is true, by the way, for the majority of channels that I've ever seen or that I've coached with, is that from what I've seen, 80% of views don't come from subscribers. The most I've seen for large YouTube channels is maybe as much as 30 to 40% of their views coming from their subscribers. But the overwhelming majority of views do not come from existing subscribers. They come from completely new people that are not subscribed to your channel. The good news is that gives you a lot of potential for growth in the future. I know people want loyal subscribers. I'm telling you, it largely doesn't exist in large quantities, and that the 80-20 rule is very real, and that 80% of your views are typically from non-subscribers. And it's not just my channel. You can look it up in your channel. Other people can share their data, share their results. You guys can talk about it in the chat. But the truth is that usually, like 80% of your views, 50 to 80% of your views, non-subscribers. Like, and that's just a real thing. Let's see. For me, devices. We look at device types. Content type, device type. Because I make tutorial content and how-to content, the overwhelming um, majority of my views have been on computers, not even on mobile devices. It's computers. Now, recently I am getting 20% this month on television sets. So again, that's increasing and that's growing. But that is something that I think is really interesting in terms of the type of content. I do believe that if you do content that is more, how should I put this? If you're doing more education and how-to content, high chance that people are watching on computers and phones. But for entertainment content, more and more people are watching on their television sets these days. That's becoming more of a thing. So, like I said, you should really look and dig into this data. We've done several workshops on YouTube analytics and on data before. But yeah, excuse me. Terry says, I usually watch on a TV and I have my phone or laptop to type in the chat, FYI. Yeah, no, so that's interesting. So I've actually noticed a lot of people definitely do that. So not shocked. Katie says, for a long time, I'd listen via mobile and then use my computer for super chats. Oh, that's interesting. Stacy says, it's something like what I'm doing now. For anyone asking for channel reviews, the rules are in the description in terms of the super chats for channel reviews if you're interested in those. So right now, usually if we don't have a bunch of channel reviews stacked up, I end up spending like the first 20 minutes or so just talking about YouTube advice. But if you're looking for a channel review, we do these via super chat. Then I pull them up on the screen and we review your channel. But yeah, going back to some of the analytics stuff, I just think that this is really interesting in terms of if any of you break down your channel's stats for lifetime views, for example, by device type. I did mine also by traffic source. And for me, because I do help content, I do educational content. My biggest traffic source tends to be YouTube search. The live streams are what pulled the suggested video numbers up. And then for regular videos, it is the browse features. If I filter this by content type, and then like we only apply this to videos, for example, then the traffic source for regular videos is not suggested. It's YouTube search, then browse features, then it's suggested, then it's external, then it's channel pages. If we filter by content type and it's just live streams, then that's going to be very different. It's going to probably be mostly suggested, if I'm being honest. So YouTube's pulling that data, and yeah, disproportionately, its suggested videos is 75% of the views for the live streams. So again, this is like really good data to be able to pull. And yeah, FYI, my analytics could look a little different because with advanced mode, I sometimes get the newest version of that from YouTube early. So sometimes there are features that I might get a little earlier than you guys. So if, for example, I think you guys will have a top-down menu instead of a side menu like mine. Another interesting feature, by the way, is languages now. So we do have languages. I'll come back to that in a minute. But interestingly, here's a video I uploaded the end of January. So this video is like 90 days old, and now it's starting to really get some traction and some juice. This is an evergreen video. This one was definitely not going to be great for ad revenue for what it was, but what I would look at here is this video, and this is why you should not judge videos too early. So this video started out very modestly, and it's just kept growing and growing and growing over a period of time, and now it's performing really well. And this video was built to just answer a very simple question about copyright on YouTube and how to use copyright music legally. So once people get the gist of it, obviously they start trickling off. But overall, the retention on this video is still pretty good at 44% for what it is. And it keeps growing and growing and growing. And it's getting all of its views from search. So if you look at this, it's not really getting boosted by the main algorithm, which is homepage and suggested. This one is definitely from people seeking out the video. As you can see here, 63% of this is viewers seeking out your content. So again, this is not a bad thing. This just means that this is not a video that will be clicked on the YouTube homepage. This is a video that's ranking in Google search, in YouTube search. It's #1 for its category, and it just keeps growing and growing. You can see here, notifications did nothing for this. Notifications did jack all for this. It did not help. And as you can see here, Google search being my big external, and then actually ChatGPT ends up recommending this video as well. And that's a new traffic source for me, is being the featured traffic source for ChatGPT. I think that that's going to be a really interesting traffic source for some channels to look at. So Stacy's asking, should we be going through our analytics and writing down what our viewers are watching as opposed to what our subscribers are watching and create content accordingly? Sorry, long question. Kind of. You should try to get a feel for the audience, and I wouldn't worry about what subscribers are watching because most views don't come from subscribers and they're not the number one drivers of traffic. They don't even necessarily get alerted to your videos. You saw even with mine, notifications don't do anything for the most part. Notifications help for live streams probably more than anything else. So, yeah. The Determined Gardener says, are the bigger channels getting served more people when they first upload a video? I know a 150K channel and they got an average 1K views per hour. I'm lucky to get 50 to 100. Yes and no. When you upload a video, YouTube test it with a portion of your subscribers. You can argue that that might be bigger for a larger channel, but it depends on the channel. And it depends on whether you're talking about entertainment or education. If it's an entertainment channel, probably. If it's an education channel, not so much. And it wouldn't matter because for education channels, um, people watch individual videos. They don't keep watching videos from that creator. They watch a certain amount of videos and that's it. They don't keep up with every new upload. Education channels are not for people who want a bunch of views every single time that they upload immediately. That's just not how education channels work unless you become a celebrity. Unless you become a celebrity in your niche, any entertainment-based YouTube channel does not really get, aside from like the science channels, but that's a whole nother thing. But in general, any channel that is education based, for the most part, cannot guarantee or even usually, generally, get consistent uploads every single time that they upload. And having more subscribers doesn't help them. If you were doing entertainment, and by entertainment, I mean if you're doing like Mr. Beast content or something like that, then it'd be different. Even product review channels don't get consistent views per upload until the reviewer becomes famous in the niche. It's just people caring about individual products. Yeah. So yeah, there's not necessarily an algorithmic based advantage to being a bigger channel. If it feels like bigger channels get more traffic, one, that's mostly the biggest channels. Those are the outliers. Most of the traffic on YouTube, 90% of the traffic on YouTube goes to the top 3% of all channels. So yes, bigger channels are consolidating the majority of views. Everybody's watching the same YouTubers. That's a real thing. That doesn't mean you can't grow, but it just means don't worry about making viral content. Don't worry about making viral content. And you don't need to make viral content to make a living on YouTube. So I would preface that. Let's see. But yeah, if people aren't submitting channel reviews, we'll just make this a 1 hour analytics stream on a late Friday, which is fine. If that's what you guys are into. And we'll try and pick up channel reviews again next week. I'll try and schedule it earlier because it's really probably just that it got super late and people probably didn't think I was going to do one. But we can just talk analytics and cover that for a while. Something interesting here also is if we look at this, even in the first 24 hours. So if we look at the first 24 hours of a video, because I know a lot of you are concerned about, well, when's your best time to upload on YouTube? I want you guys to see something. Here are the views in the first 24 hours of when I uploaded this video. And so you can see it got more of those views over a later period of time. And it didn't matter that I posted this at like 6 p.m. People were watching it more at 5 a.m. than when I initially uploaded it. So, that didn't necessarily matter. If we look at the views, the first day were its peak views, and then it slowly declines over 72 hours, but then it levels off in this case, and then it starts picking back up. Because again, this is a search-friendly video, so that's how it worked out. So in terms of long tail views, that can be important, just depending on what you're trying to accomplish. Terry W says, question, I don't think I have enough videos for a channel review. Is there a recommended number of videos before we should submit there? People have submitted with any number of videos on their channel. I'd say maybe 10 to 20 is probably a good place to be at, though. Yep. Great key news. Consistency is key. Yep. Thanks. Kia says, question, Roberto. I have a digital marketing business to help commercial cleaning companies with their local SEO and visibility. I want to use YouTube to attract more clients, but don't want to do tutorials. Then I don't know what to tell you, because if you're doing an SEO company, you have to do tutorials and case studies. I worked with one of the biggest guys in the SEO space before. I did some consulting for Matt Diggity. Matt Diggity is one of the biggest guys in the SEO space. The only way to drum up business, if you're going to do an SEO company and you're focused on hyper local, is to do case studies, explainer videos, and tutorials. I want to know why you don't want to do tutorials. Is there a reason you want to do tutorials, or is it just that you think that they're boring? Because honestly, for a client services business, that's the answer. Josiah Eat says, can non-cooking food channels, aka example, Jack's Dining Room, be evergreen with longevity? Yes. Non-cooking food channels can and often are evergreen in terms of longevity. Mukbang channels are, for example, and those are just eating videos. So yes, that's entirely possible. Yeah, let's see here. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys something. Click-through rate is not real. That's a bold statement, right? Click-through rate's not real. What do I mean by click-through rate's not real? Your click-through rate is just an average. So the number you're seeing is not real. It is over a period of time. So if I judge this, I'd be judging it wrong, because currently the click-through rate on this video is about 12 or 13%. So just the other day, it was 14, 15%. So why does it say 7.5? Because it's an average. Because if you average over time, and if you average by traffic source, you're going to get a lower number. But that number probably isn't the most important number. The most important number is probably, how are you doing today or within the last 48 or 72 hours on your click-through rate. So looking at the recent click-through rate is more important than whatever the average is. So judging the average is kind of silly. Yeah. So thanks, Kia says, yeah, I think that they're boring. Trying to figure out a unique angle. A lot of you are trying to be clever instead of being clear, and a lot of you overvalue uniqueness. If you're doing an SEO business for local companies and you have a very specific niche, there's not really a point to some crazy unique angle, at least not at the start when there's not even an audience. There's no point in doing some crazy unique angle for that. And, you have to get over the fact that tutorials are boring. I think a lot of people could do it. I mean, your clients are probably, it's SEO services and it's local businesses and it's hyper niche specific. They're probably paying you a lot of money. Like if you want to do YouTube as a passion and do something not boring, then you can do unique content, do some esoteric content, do something weird, do something artsy that has nothing to do with your business. If you want to feel like you're a storyteller, if I'm doing a SEO business that's local, I'm not concerned about doing a unique angle or being artistic. I'm concerned about convincing small business owners to spend 5 to 6 figures with me in one pop. I'm happy to do a boring as hell business if people are going to pay me 5 and 6 figures on every transaction. I'll do a boring as hell business and I'll do boring as hell tutorials. And like, that's just my harsh take on it. My harsh take on it is that's absolutely worth it to do boring videos that make a crap ton of money because they attract affluent clients with a lot of disposable income and cash. And those people who have a small business who are in their 40s and 50s, they're not here to care about your art on YouTube or your fancy editing or your style. What they want is they want a good tutorial that convinces them of your skills, and they want client case studies that showcase the work that you do and the results that you did in before and after. And that's what the SEO people on YouTube have to do and why they do it. So like I said, I've worked with one of the biggest SEO channels, Matt Diggity, and that's exactly what it comes down to. Now, his stuff is a little bit more polished and creative, but that's also some of the salesmanship of what he does. But he didn't start out the gate with that, and he still has to do tutorial content. So, it is what it is. We've got a super chat here from Nino and Lo. So they are looking for a channel review this evening. Shout out to them in Canada. So we can definitely do that. We will pull up their channel. And let's get into the first channel review for tonight. And because we don't have a bunch of them already lined up, they'll probably end up getting a little bit more time. So before I jump into their channel review, I will hydrate a little bit more. Preserve what's left of my voice. Also on the question, yeah, the getting clients to watch is about the title and the thumbnail. It's about the title and the thumbnail. It's not about whether you do that. Also, yes, in a bigger business, getting a bunch of views, like if you have clients that have 5 or 6 figures to spend and that's who your target is, you're talking about people with money. They're the smallest audience of people spending time on YouTube. The smallest group of people spending time on YouTube is people with 5 to 6 figures of disposable cash and that run a business. The overwhelming majority of people on YouTube are broke college kids and broke teenagers. Therefore, the content that gets the most views, I'm going to tell you guys the truth, the content that gets the most views appeals to broke kids with no money, which is also why the ad revenue for YouTube gaming is so low. And to make a living as a YouTube gamer, you have to get millions of views. If you are a business who happens to be on YouTube marketing to an older, affluent audience of people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that have disposable income, you will get less views because there are just less of those human beings that speak your language and live in your country, wherever you are in the world. That's the truth. The market for the affluent audience is going to be smaller than the market for the broke audience. So the more views you get, the less money the audience has to spend. That's why the majority of things on YouTube and the majority of advertising is targeting people who have less than $100 of disposable income. So YouTubers promote things that are under $100 when they have a younger audience, usually under 25. The college and post-college crowd of broke young adults and broke young teenagers. I'm not saying that to be ugly to say broke. It's just the easiest way to communicate this to all of you, that it's like we're talking about people who can only spend $100 or less at a time. The older and more affluent your market is, they go up past that dollar amount, but the views will shrink because there are less people with that kind of money. So you do have to just kind of put that into perspective. And if your goal is to reach business owners for your business, and the budget is going to always be 5 to 6 figure spends, or even higher 4 figure spends, that's a very small audience of people that can afford $5,000 SEO budgets, 10,000 to 20,000 SEO budgets, 50 to 120,000 SEO budgets. That's a small audience of people who have that kind of money. So whether you're doing SEO or a social media agency or a marketing company, that's the kind of thing that you have to pay attention to and temper your expectations on views. But that doesn't mean be lazy on your videos or lazy on your packaging or even get emotionally invested in the lower views. The goal is to turn those viewers into qualified leads and turn those leads into sales. That's the entire goal. So I would focus on that. But speaking of focus, we're going to shift our focus here after I sip some of this water to Nino and Lo. There we go. All right, so we have Nino and Lo here. So first of all, this is not a bad profile pic for you guys. I do think it could be sharper, though. It looks a little blurry here, so maybe sharpen that up, run that through Photoshop or AI. You have in your title, you have cooking, gardening, and vlogs. I'm not sure how this is going to work as a content strategy with more variety content, because I feel like there needs to be a value proposition here. Is the cooking related to the gardening because you are going farm to table? Are you cooking things that you guys grew? That'd be interesting to know, and that makes that make a lot more sense. But if you're doing a variety of content, the views can get less consistent. So I might rebrand this also. We can't see you guys with the way that you have this channel banding here, obscuring things. I don't hate the photo of you guys and then cooking on one side and gardening on the other, even though what I just said about variety, so that's interesting. But what I would do is I'd remove this black bar and just use your text with a drop shadow. I'd move it down so we could see both of you. And then I might do a picture that shows you guys just closer together, shows you guys just being more of a couple. So that'd be more endearing, probably. So that's something I'd fix with your banner and the branding. For the channel layout, you have your most popular videos, nothing wrong with that. Then videos, winter sewing, okay, and then you have shorts, then cooking with Nino, and then travel, informer window. I don't know what that means. We sit in front of our picture window that we've named informer window. We chat about current events. Um, I would rebrand that because I just think that that's over people's heads. I'd rebrand that. I don't have a problem with you guys doing this live show as a podcast, but you shouldn't be titled these "Come join live for a chat." You should have a topic or an idea, and you should basically turn this into a podcast. And I would probably just, you know, call it the Nino and Low Show or something like that, or the Nino and Low Podcast. Um, but I think that you guys could do this live show as a podcast, and that'd actually be a better idea. I think you should brand it as a podcast. I think you should have individual titles for every stream that you're doing. Let's see, garden tours. Let's see how the videos are doing with all this variety of content, and then we can maybe update the strategy for this. So, oh man, I love this. How to make brown stew chicken with ground provisions, Jamaican comfort food. Okay. Love that. That's great. Spicy garlic shrimp. I think these thumbnails aren't god awful, but I do think that there's improvement for these thumbnails. Check out my friend Benjamin TV for the cooking thumbnails. Regrow supermarket herbs at home. Stop wasting money. Perfect framing for a title. Very good thumbnail here. I think for the gardening videos that they could get more consistent views if the gardening videos focus on the idea of how to do things like how to save money on herbs and spices that you're going to use in your cooking. So I think if the gardening primarily um, focuses a lot more on that, and then I think that if you make it about price when you want to do just the beautiful flowers, like the amaryllis bulbs, great price after the holiday price alert, like things like that are price conscious. If the gardening content becomes about saving money, um, being price conscious, and also about regrowing, that seems to have the most benefit. Tying some of the gardening videos to plants that have medicinal benefit seems to also work. And then also roundup videos, these listicle videos. So here's the thing. I actually think that you guys can get away with variety content on your channel, but I think it's all about the twist for the audience. And like I said, the majority of people right now health conscious, money conscious. They want to save that money. They want to get healthier. They also want good experiences in terms of eating food and lifestyle. So I would say the gardening and the cooking content, the food content is working, but I think you have to have the recipes that are saving them time, gardening tips that are saving them money or improving their health, food that is recipes and cooking videos that save them time, and things that like I said, time is a factor, health is a factor, saving money is a factor. So I think that your videos should save people time, improve their health, save them money. That should be kind of a recurring theme, or improve their overall lifestyle. What I've noticed here so far is that in your most popular videos of all time, I haven't seen a vlog yet in your most popular videos of all time. This one is more of a reaction and funny, and it's a couples video. So, what does everyone care about? Everyone cares about their health, their time, money and career, and their relationships. So I would rebrand the Informer Window Chronicles to maybe it's the Nino and Low Chronicles, or maybe it's the Nina and Low podcast show. So I'd say probably maybe it's the Nina and Low podcast show would be better branding. And I think that maybe the titles for those videos are couple reacts or Jamaican couple reacts. And then people will be curious about that because it's an angle and a twist that other people don't have. If you're going to do these travel videos, I think it has to be X amount of days in a location, and then I think it has to be something like hidden gems and must-see spots like this. I'm what I'm seeing is conventional vlogs are not performing on your channel and not cracking 1,000 views. I think that garden vlogs, but not calling them vlogs, but gardening content shot in a vlog-like style can do well. I think couples content can do well for you guys. But I haven't seen any vlogs really crack 1,000. A couple of these are cracking 500. If you guys just want to do the vlogs to capture them for yourselves and to look back on them, then that's fine. Just adjust the view expectations. But yeah. But what's working for you guys is when the cooking content saves people time or saves people money. And what's working for you is when the gardening content saves people time or has a health benefit or ties back into the cooking directly. So those are things I would change and focus on for your channel. Also, I would start getting to a place where you have a branded style of thumbnails, but also where they are stronger. And I think that there are some of your thumbnails that are better than others. This one is good aside from the fact that the text isn't readable and the pose and facial expression here could have been stronger. But yeah. A good channel for you guys to look at is one of my awesome Creator Academy students, Cassie from Becoming a Farm Girl. Like she's killing it. So Cassandra from Becoming a Farm Girl is one of my most successful students in Awesome Creator Academy. She's been with us for about 2 years now, I want to say. I think she came to us with less than 20,000 subscribers. Her videos and her thumbnails do extremely well, and they're kind of more the speed of what you guys are doing. So this is an example of what you all are trying to do, but done very, very effectively. And so this is kind of what I would shoot for in terms of thumbnails and aesthetic design. And so I would make Cassandra from Becoming a Farm Girl your spirit animal if this is the content you guys are trying to do. So I think that she is a great channel for you guys to model yourself after. So those are my thoughts. So looking at Nina and Lo, that's what I think about their channel and the direction they're going. I think that they have potential. I think for a channel under 5,000 subscribers, they're not really doing bad at all. I do think that there are things that could improve with the overall branding, the aesthetics, and thumbnails. Their most popular content has really been things that would help somebody either save time or have health benefits, like this okra water is a really interesting one. And the thumbnail is actually pretty decent here. So there are just some things that work better than others with their channel. I do think that variety content is a struggle, and I also know it's hard for newer YouTubers and small YouTubers to let go of variety and expressing everything that they're interested on one channel. I think that with gardening and cooking, there is enough overlap because you're talking usually about how food is grown and how to prepare it. So I think that that overlap is actually okay. I do think that because they are a couple doing this content and one of them is more focused on cooking and one is more focusing on gardening, I think that the mix and the blend there works. I think if they're going to do their live show, basically turning it into a couple reacts or Jamaican couple reacts is the most interesting angle for the live streams. Reformatting as a podcast, repurposing the podcast on audio, I think is a good strategy. I think there's extra money that can be made that way. So I feel like those things would work better for their channel. But what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Is there something you would do different? Let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. Let me know in the chat if you're watching live. Yep. So Nino and Lo, I hope you enjoyed that review, and I hope you found it constructive. And time for another water refill. So let's catch up with the chat. Nova Fox says, Roberto, question: what is the policy on reused content? Has it changed, and does it extend to commentary and using logos and thumbnails? It doesn't extend to logos and thumbnails, but it looks like the mods in the chat have answered most of your questions around reused content. Nothing there has really changed. And Doug Hewson here has a full explanation for you. He also, I believe, has a full explanation of this policy on his YouTube channel. All right, so Darenta Lamar, wait, Darent Durante Lamar, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Durante Lamar is our next channel review, so we're gonna bring him up here. All right. So, Durante Lamar, community developer, author, and entrepreneur. Nice resume. First thing on the banner is that text for community developer, author, and entrepreneur isn't going to show up in mobile because it's going to center more. The same thing for your name, the way that this is currently designed. So you need to do a center focused banner because this is going to get cut off in mobile. Always test how your channel art and your overall channel looks on mobile, desktop, and on smart TVs, and that will help a lot of you. So that's a note for everybody. Your profile pic here isn't as sharp as your photo in here. It's too zoomed out. It doesn't really add any context, and the black and white doesn't do anything here. It'd just be better if this was a headshot of your face smiling. You got a nice smile from what we can see here. Just a bigger, sharper photo with you smiling, and in color is probably going to be better. For your about section, it does cut off. You could just cut off Durante Lamar here and just say, I'm deeply committed to critical thinking and people-centered inclusivity if you're going to say that. Um, if that's your whole angle here. Um, but it also really doesn't tell you what the content is about. And I like when I look at your banner and you say community developer, author, and entrepreneur. I'm missing context. You might be better off with a one liner that's a mission statement in the banner and having a similar one liner mission statement in your title. For channel layout, you have um the members here. That's not bad. And then you have videos and shorts, multiple playlists. If you're going to do members and highlight channel members, you might as well also do a playlist that is the members only content so people can get a sneak peek at what they're missing and put that on the layout here. You might want to add another two playlists to the like as far as full playlist versus the multiple playlist to the layout here. I think probably these three would be good to have a solo playlist on the channel themselves, the feature stuff. What I will say is these are really good thumbnails, man. Like these thumbnails are really good. So 31,000 subscribers, really strong thumbnails and strong thumbnail covers for the playlist. So there's that. Very aggressive thumbnail style. I actually really like it. And good use of Photoshop here. I don't know if this is you or your artist, but these are actually really good. These are very strong. So I would have some kind of mission statement that makes it much more clear that you're a God-centered or Christ-centered community leader. And I would probably lead with that mission statement in the banner and in your about section so people just know what to expect, because this about section right here, the like most people will only ever read this first paragraph, and this tells us nothing about what your actual content is. So the resume and the rest of it can come later, but we really need to know what your content is. Um, why people need you to believe in their God. Or again, if you're not the Christ-centered thing, that's the opposite, because it's actually hard to tell the way you're doing it. Anger after faith. It's why Christianity checks every box of a death cult. Okay, so if you are more of the atheist type, then you would still lead with the opposite. If you're not Christ-centered, then you go with intellectual atheism. Because the truth is, from the branding, I almost can't tell, but maybe that's on purpose. I'm not sure. So again, I would. So you're an atheist. Got it. Well, see, here's the weird thing. Your branding doesn't make that abundantly clear. Your first line here doesn't make that clear, and your banner doesn't make that clear. So I would do a mission statement that would say that you are one of the intellectual atheist types. So if you're the opposite, then lean into that. And you should be as aggressive with it in the banner as it looks like you're being kind of in the thumbnails. So you would do that. And then, like I said, you do the channel layout branding side. Shorts. mm, the shorts are fine, but you could probably, I don't know if your traffic source is the homepage. You could probably do custom thumbnails for the shorts, and that might be better in case of the channel homepage. Very good live stream thumbnails. No real issue here. So your biggest thing is that at least from my point of view, your biggest thing is you're getting views. Your biggest issue is just that the communication in the banner is not very clear. You would probably be so good at these thumbnails that custom shorts thumbnails would give you more reach and opportunity if your shorts are promoted on the homepage or anywhere else. Um, and then the thumbnails work very well, but they also would play out well on connected televisions. The same thing for the live stream thumbnails and the branding there. Um, Maybe you should lean into the ex-pastor thing in the banner, and that would be stronger. And like I said, the banner gets cut off in mobile. It's going to need to be center design. So that's what I would say really with regard to this is there's just a few branding and messaging cleanups. There's a few visual things that you could do differently. But you already have figured out your audience. So there's not really a strategy component here that needs to be different. But the main thing is you need to look at that and then look at your traffic sources. You probably are doing well on most devices as far as your thumbnails. Check how the whole thing looks if it's on a television screen and see if there's anything there. But yeah, that is my take on Durante's channel. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. Let me know on the live stream in the chat what you think. Would you do anything differently on the branding? Do you think that my point about just clear messaging in the banner and in the about section makes more sense? Let me know. Yep. All right. Need some more water here. Yep. And we've got a couple of more here. We've got, and we've got 52 weeks. Okay, cool. I think it just proved that clear message was needed. Yeah. The main thing for a lot of people is you guys, you want to make sure that in general, with your branding and your content, you always want to make the messaging very clear when people enter your channel. Primary example would be, let's say in the best case scenario, you get shouted out by a bigger YouTuber or something like that, or someone reacts to your content. People are going to type in your channel name, and their first impression of you is going to be that YouTube banner and that about section. If you comment on videos, the first thing people are going to see is the profile pic. You want that to be as strong as possible, leave a good impression. When people hover over it, they also see your about section. You want a solid one-liner that tells them what to expect in as many words as possible. And don't be redundant by using your name again. Just go straight to the value that they would care about if they hover over your profile pic and realize that that's what people are doing. And that's going to be really important. So I think that when it comes to branding, that making the messaging very clear, making the value that the viewer is going to get out of your content abundantly clear in that first line of that about section, in that channel banner, and then also check the branding and how everything presents visually on all of the major devices, connected televisions and mobile, and probably desktop would probably be the most important ones to focus on when it comes to the overall channel branding and where things are going to be the most visible. So you want to look at that from the viewer's perspective. You want to create value for the viewer. You want to communicate and demonstrate that value upfront to the viewer every time. Also, you don't have to overdo your channel layout and the featured playlist, but you do want to make sure you fill that out with maybe at least 4 or 5 of those. Then on top of that, if you guys are doing members and you're going to feature channel members to promote that you have that membership, you should always consider putting the membership playlist on the channel somewhere, even if it's at the bottom, so that people can see what they might be missing out on. And that's a good sales pitch to get someone to be a channel member and get that exclusive content. So those things always are very important to consider here. Yep. Let's see here. So our next channel is called 52 Weeks. So we're going to go ahead and do that one. All right, so 52 weeks, shorts with a boomer, a series of learning videos. So this is really interesting. I think that this just meets the cutoff for the mobile side with this. So again, I would check. Very clever, interesting thumbnail here, and very clever use of a profile pic icon. So this is clever. 52 short arguments by an actual baby boomer. Okay, so this is interesting. Let's see what we've got here. We have a theoretical welcome friends here videos, not to give you the wrong impression. I might phrase that differently. The grammar just feels off there. Hmm. The thumbnails here feel inconsistent because you're mixing AI thumbnails and then IRL thumbnails here. So thumbnail consistency is off, so that actually does hurt with giving an impression or giving a understanding of consistency there. So I would pick a style and maybe lean into it to establish um branding. Let's see. Week one, don't worry, be happy. Week two, how not to be screwed. I don't necessarily know that I get what you might be doing here, but I don't know that you have to lead with the weeks in the beginning of the. In fact, I wouldn't. I wouldn't lead with the weeks in the beginning of the title. I would actually make that branding be at the end of the title in this case, since you're not like a workshop channel per se. And then the other thing is, again, the thumbnails here are inconsistent. And then these highlights, these thumbnails just being text only feel like throwaway thumbnails. And again, it's hard for people to understand what the value proposition of each individual video is. So you believe these opinions and are declarative statements to be 100% accurate. You are the judge. The early videos were mostly self-improvement, positivity, and my favorite subject, failure, how to avoid it, how to come back. So again, this feels like it's somewhat tongue-in-cheek, um, self-help and motivation with a twist. Um, and I think that this could be interesting. I just think that the thumbnails and branding need, even if you're gonna redo the older ones, need a consistency to them and a committed style, especially for this to be branded as a series and vignettes. And the content itself is a little bit more esoteric, which means the titles being clear also have to be um just more transparent. I'll give you another example of what I might do with something like this. I might use cliches, but put them in quotes in terms of things that people always hear or believe. And then I would just rethink a relaunch even of this content. And maybe what you do is you cover um, the most controversial takes in the world in a candid way or a funny way or interesting way over your 52-week series. And maybe there's a different thing that you tackle every 52 weeks. I mean, primary example, 52 weeks right now. Probably one of the things you could cover right now is you could do theme weeks over the next 52 weeks right now. Or again, you're into different sets of weeks for this year, and you could just do 52 weeks every year for your channel, by the way. You do 52 weeks every year, but you could cover different themes. Like for the next week, for the next week, maybe you focus on multiple videos about relationships, relationship dynamics, um, dating and mating, and your thoughts on that and the world as it currently exists. Because right now, there are a lot of different scandals and thoughts and things out there, and people are really and rightfully to some degree fixated on that idea. And then maybe next week, because again, I think every week it should be basically a conversation that focuses on the things that people really, really care about this year and in the moment to a degree. If I was doing this, if I was doing 52 weeks, I would just dedicate every week to a theme. You kind of do that. But if I was going to give my thoughts and takes, if I was doing this, you're a boomer, I'm an old millennial. If I was doing this as an old millennial, this week, It'd be all about relationships, and it would be about relationship dynamics, or it'd be about age, or this week would even probably be dating and mating and age gaps. And I would really lead into that because there's just a lot of juicy stuff right now with that. And I would do that. And then next week, I might do stuff on um the state of the economy. And that's a whole week where you get to talk about investing, saving, the crash, the tariffs, housing, all the things from an older perspective. Like I'm an old millennial, so I could talk about, no, this is not a recession or a crash. We lived through one. It was called the, 2008 through 2011, and it was not what you're seeing now. It was carnage. And so I would do things like that. You know, um if you do another week, should you have kids, should you not have kids? You could do all these different hot takes that people care about week to week in the world, and cover them over a series of videos for those weeks. And again, I would brand it similar to where you branded week 26 at the end. I would go more to that. You could do one then on um, racism. You could do one on depression and anxiety. You could do, so you could do all the things, right? I just think that right now the biggest challenges are the thumbnails need to be consistent, and the titles need to feel less esoteric, and they need to feel much clearer. And I think that that would go a long way. I also think they need to be a combination of relevant and evergreen, but they need to probably, I would just lean into the most controversial and polarizing things that people care about if you're going to give an opinion on them. So those would be my thoughts. But what did you guys think of my review of 52 weeks and my reconfiguring of a content strategy there, and my suggestions about committing to a style when it comes to the thumbnails and having a recognizable branded style, and what my thoughts are there? Do you guys have a different opinion? Would you approach the content strategy differently than what I'm suggesting, with just leaning into the most polarizing things you possibly can week to week, and then doing that um, every year for 52 weeks? I think that that would be a very interesting direction to go in. And then I would just give 3 to 5 hot takes in a week, and lean into it, or even react to other people's things around that potentially. So that's the direction that I would kind of go in. And I think that I would use X.com to kind of also realize what is in the zeitgeist, or what are people upset about this time, and then talk about that a week or two later, and because people will still be invested. So, and then I'd make it evergreen. I wouldn't make it topical as much as I'd make it evergreen. So that's my thoughts around it. What do you guys think? Would you do something differently? Let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. Let me know in the chat if you're watching live. Yep. So that is what I think. 52 weeks. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I think there's a good concept there. I just think it needs more refinement. Yeah, Nino and Lo. You can feel free to join the Academy Pro group. We have like a lot of info on different topics there, but also you get access to me and the crew for office hour sessions live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we have that. So definitely make sure you're checking this out, or you could do one-on-one coaching. So again, we've got some links in the chat for that for you guys, and I think we have some in the description as well. Speaking of links, shout out to our good friends over at 1 of 10, the best YouTube strategy tool that you can be using right now. 1 of 10 is really good for those of you trying to research outlier videos that can get more views in your niche, trying to figure out what your niche neighbors are doing, curating better thumbnails, and they have an ideation tool if you're struggling for ideas for your videos. So I would definitely check out 1of10.com is the best modern YouTube ideation tool. If you use code AWESOME, they give you a free trial for 30 days. So you don't have to take my word for it. You can literally just try the thing for free. If you guys are going to do nothing else, go to 1of10.com, go to checkout, use code AWESOME, get a 30-day free trial, use the tool, tell me what you think about it. And if you want to buy it, you can use code Roberto and they'll give you 50% off. I believe that's a lifetime discount. So you can take advantage of that, but at least use the tool for the free trial. There's no downside or nothing bad that happens if you use a free trial. And then you'll understand whether or not it helps you or not. If it does help you and you want to keep it, get 50% off with code Roberto at checkout, and that'll get you a discount, I believe, for life. And then if you want to just try it for free for 30 days. And if it doesn't help you, it doesn't help you. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But there's no downside to trying it out. So make sure you guys are checking that out. Link is in the description. Mods are also dropping in the chat for y'all. Thank you to 1of10 for sponsoring our YouTube channel reviews. All right, so we got two more channels right now. Terry's asking a question. Roberto, is there anything actionable to get viewers to care about what you're saying? Educators focus heavy on mechanics, build thumbnails, titles, but miss emotional connection with the viewers for a great video it is. I don't. I tell you to leverage, if not borderline abuse, human psychology and behavior. So the emotional aspect that you're talking about, I talk about it all the time. It is when I say people care about their time, they care about their money, they care about their relationships, they care about their own status, and they care about their health. If your content and your titles and in your thumbnails and the topic you're choosing tells people that you're going to fix one of those things for them, they can now prioritize and preference your content and what you're talking about. So the thing is, if you don't tell me, hey, watching this video, like for example, as hokey as it sounds, watching a video where you explain that you changed someone's business or career and you help them literally make 5 times as much money, that at least some people will click on that video. If you're just explaining a process, less people will click on that. So it needs to be a results-oriented idea. So it's outcome based. It's outcome based. Primary example is this productivity system made me $240,000 a year freelancing from home. So if you have a female content creator and she holds up like a journaling book or a planner in the thumbnail, and she's looking at the camera, she's got her glasses on, she's got her nice work area, and she says, hey, this productivity guide helped, or sorry, this productivity system helped to make $240,000 a year working from home. People are going to click on that because, okay, this woman can help me make money working from home. Or if the same creator made a video that says how I make $6,000 a week only working 2 hours a day, people are going to click on that because she's tying outcomes and she's saying, here's a desirable outcome, here's how to achieve it with less time or less effort. So you'd have to use the concept of so you'd have to look for the concept of when you have an idea, you need to tie your idea to a primal need and desire. The 5 main primary needs and desires that you could say are primal triggers. The primal triggers are usually your health and wellness. It's usually your money and career, your status. It is usually your relationships, and it's also usually your time. These are usually our big five. These are usually our big five. The actionable thing is whatever title and thumbnail you are making for your concept. Explain to yourself on paper. The actionable item is, you need probably a Venn diagram, maybe, is how does this communicate or signal a primal trigger and demonstrate value for the viewer? That's the actionable advice around emotional depth and emotional connection to the viewer, at least as far as the packaging goes. The remaining emotional depth will be about your clarity of communication, your confidence, and your charisma, and your capacity in your communication style to communicate, which means that that's all EQ, and there's only so much you can do to train that. I suppose you can do public speaking around things like NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and you can also learn the art of persuasive language in your scripting, and then that would be the emotional connection aspect of writing the script. So writing the script would be about optimizing for what has the most emotional impact to the viewer, styling your hooks for emotional depth, and relating to the viewer. Primary example, when I open up videos and I say something like, I'll give you a primary example. So here's a primary example of exactly what we're talking about. YouTube can be an extremely lonely endeavor. Your friends and family don't understand why you're doing this crazy thing and why you're giving 10, 20 hours a week to it instead of spending more time with them, goofing off, entertaining them, going out to the bar, whatever. You're a working class content creator if you're watching this video. You are trying to do this crazy thing that you're stupid excited about. You are giving up your other hobbies. You are alienating your friends and family. And you're working on this after being exhausted from a 40-hour work week, 50 hours if you're like what I used to deal with. And you are then taking the scraps of energy you have left and what little bit of spare time you have for yourself, and you're exposing yourself to strangers on the internet only to get 20 views and 3 negative comments. And that's what being a small YouTuber is like. If you're watching this video, let's get you off the YouTube struggle bus. Let's figure out how you can get more views, more subscribers, and also let's figure out some ways you can make this feel a little bit less lonely and a little bit more worth it. See, that's the resonance of an emotional impact delivered in about, like, what was that mod team? Was that like 30 or like 60 seconds? It's probably about 60 seconds, right? 60 seconds of that delivery. So I spent that time in an extended hook that I would also probably have visuals and things going on with, but I spent 60 seconds on creating and establishing relatability, making the audience member feel seen and heard, and describing their own experience. So exposing yourself to stranger on internet could be worded differently. Yeah, but I was ad-libbing. I didn't have a script. Like, I had to just do it off the top of my head. I could have worded all of that better, but that would be an example of okay, that was a take one. I'd scrap it, and then I'd do another take of that same thing, right? So the main thing is I would, outline or script a different hook than that. I've been doing that live, right? I'm doing that live here, but that's kind of the point. If I'm doing an edited YouTube video, I get to do 2, 3, or even 5 takes of that and make it better and refine and polish it. So then I would get to do that thing. But the key to everything I just showed you guys was an intro hook where I can relate to the viewer, and to where if the viewer feels seen and feels heard at an emotional level, they have more of a reason to keep watching than if I edit fancy. It is more important for the person to feel seen and heard and to relate to you and feel like they trust you and that you're going to do right by them, or that you just get it. It's more important to do that than do fancy editing, and you can retain them better if they feel seen and heard than you can with clever tricks. So the idea is that you need to develop a sense of your audience avatar and then figure out what they value more, what they value most, what their lifestyle is, what their preferences is, what their problems are, what their prejudices are, and what their priorities are. And then you can make an emotional appeal to those things. And you can use emotional trigger words and concepts that they will resonate with and relate to more. If you do that more than other people they're watching, then they will then make you their preference and they will make you their priority. So it's really about the clarity of your communication, is about the confidence and charisma of your delivery, and then it is about the connection you're able to build by communicating empathy for the viewer. So if you can accomplish that, I think that you can see improvements in a lot of ways. One, I think you can extend retention rates and negate drop off and abandonment rates by doing that. And I think that that would be important. So yeah. So we got a couple of more reviews to go through. Yeah, dialing in why an avatar should care about your topic is probably the holy grail of YouTube. Yep, it absolutely is. Um, it absolutely is. The creator who understands their viewer the most and is the best at demonstrating and communicating value for that viewer is the creator that will win. And that usually comes down to knowing their priorities, preferences, prejudices, and problems. If you know those four things about people, you usually know how to win them over, how not to alienate them, and how to attract them in the first place. So yeah. Something we have for our Academy members is um, we made a crazy audience avatar matrix for the Academy Pro Group members. And give you a sneak peek of that, I guess. I think I can get to it in my I think I can get to it in my Google Sheets. We are gonna, keep keep going with the channel reviews here. I just want to look for this because I'm sure I have it. Oh no, I have it on my other computer. I didn't upload it to. Did I upload it to? Oh wait, I think maybe I have it here on the desktop. Okay, yeah, I have it here on my desktop. I will go to the channel reviews here in a second. I just want to give you guys a sneak peek at this. This is something we have for the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group members. So we have basically 25 25 personality types for audience avatars. And so we named 25 different viewers, and we broke down about roughly 30 different components of these type of viewers. So we have an explainer, a one-liner kind of explainer um, of who they are so that you can understand them. And then we go into different things about them. Like we have a more detailed description of these individual avatars. We have, and that's like we have quotes things that they would say. We have their mindset and point of view. We have their motivations, their priorities, their content preferences, their preferred content formats, the preferred tone of voice, the platforms that they consume the most, their life cycle fit, their visual design triggers, value proposition at a glance that they would value, best formats and durations, best hooks, first frame hooks and cues for them, example hooks, their biggest challenge to retentions and continuing to watch, what they click, what turns them off, emotional hook lines, emotional resolutions they desire, outcome ladders, very important for outcome ladders in terms of what is going to happen there with them, conversion and loyalty, the ideal call to action for them, best content types, their monetization fit, the opportunity for the creator, the visual identity that will appeal to them, social proof cues that will matter to them, algorithm fit. So we have these 30 different categories across these 25 different avatar these different avatars, which basically you think of every avatar that we list as a personality type. So for dialing that sort of thing in, for dialing that sort of thing in, and again, there are things that would exist outside of these 25 personalities, but these were the best fit we could think of for the most popular type of content you guys would make. Um, But yeah, we found uh and developed these avatars for you. And so this is a resource that our Academy Pro group members have access to. And so we developed this, and I think it's extremely helpful. So just wanted to let you guys know that that sort of thing exists as one of those crazy resources that our Awesome Creator Academy Pro group members get and have access to. So, it's more than just what you would normally get in terms of people with YouTube courses or things like that. We try to go a lot deeper. We also have like thumbnail templates. We have a lot of different resources that were built for solving very specific problems in the creator experience. So that is something we wanted you guys to be able to just have a sneak peek at and show you how deep the rabbit hole can go in understanding your viewer and what they would value. Yep. So our next review is That Chick Ziza, I think it is. Um so Ziza. I have a hard time pronouncing this, but that is our next channel review. Her channel label is T, so we'll see. So right off the bat, one thing I'll say is the profile pic is interesting and intriguing. The shades are actually really good branding. I might just use that overall and use that in the thumbnails, to be honest with you. If you're gonna put your face in things, I would just wear those shades all the time, if I'm being honest, because it just creates a signature look. Also, could make it easier to know to never see when you're not looking at the camera. Casey Neistat uses that trick for his vlogs. Um, Come watch me grow into my higher self. It's an interesting one-liner. It still doesn't necessarily tell us what the channel is about. What I would do is I would make a banner that tells us something more about the channel and what to expect, and also what your upload schedule is going to be, so we know if we want to commit to it. Um, let's see. For videos like this, just from a production value standpoint, from seeing the highlight here, you definitely want to pay attention to the lighting on your device. If it's your phone, then you definitely want to use some kind of external lighting. Sometimes outdoor lighting with auto isn't the best. There's nothing in terms of playlist on the homepage. I would tune that up a little bit. Let's look at the thumbnails. Okay, so basically you're not doing thumbnails, you're just taking um stills, I guess, from the video. 87 days until Amazon wedding guest dressed at 86 days until. Okay, so I don't actually understand your titles until 2025 work throughs. So like this was a countdown to 2025, I guess. 33 days until. Okay, so it looks like you're just doing personal vlogs and you haven't uploaded for 6 months. Um, 92 days until I get my house in order. I can see how people at least would relate to that video. Um, if you're going to do vlog content, the thumbnails don't have to be perfect, but they do have to be more interesting. And I would say you have to be more consistent than like taking a 6 month hiatus. Especially if you were doing a countdown that people were watching and were invested in until the new year. Wait, you can't take like a 4 months off because it's not 6 months, my bad. It's 4 months. 33 days until 2025. Because like we're in 2025 now. So I would say that you could take photos for your thumbnails. They're at least theoretically um capturing the most interesting thing about your day. For example, from poverty to paradise was able to get traction on her videos and grow with her vlogs. Now, granted, she travels on cruise ships and sold her house, and she did have a video that went viral. But in general, she makes her thumbnails as interesting as she can, rather than just a still from the video. So I would say that if you're going to do vlog-like content, try to utilize photography and concepts. So that would be a suggestion for you here. Also, I would make these titles much more interesting, and I would say that, some people like this very laid back content style, which is fine. You don't have to go crazy with that. But in general, the thing that I would improve visually is a lot of your lighting. Because there's just inconsistency in how well your videos are lit. A lot of the biggest problem is backlighting. You need lighting in front of you at all times. Backlighting kind of turns you to silhouette, and it's a bigger problem if you have a darker complexion. So you want to prioritize that. But those are the main things for your channel. I would say, T, that it's really more about getting the basics down. There's a lot of fundamentals and basics that you have to do as a YouTuber to improve here, if your goal is to grow. But those were my thoughts on T's channel. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Let me know in the chat if you're watching live. Let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. Yeah, so those were my general thoughts. I don't know why my hair is frizzing up. But those were my general thoughts on the channel. And again, I think not a bad start for just putting yourself out there, but consistency is key. Good lighting, good audio. Cannot compromise on good lighting and good audio at all. Good lighting also doesn't have to be expensive. They're like small lights out there, they're like $30 that you can get. So lighting doesn't have to be radically expensive. We do have recommendations for gear. I believe the mods have just put links to that in the chat for you guys. So next we have Caffrey Plays. And after we do Salon Guy, even though we only did 6 reviews tonight, if we don't have more people submit reviews here by the time we get through Caffrey Plays and the Salon Guy, I think we're gonna just wrap up tonight with the Salon Guy and just call it a night. Let's see. So we have Caffrey Plays. Let's get into it. So we got Caffrey Plays with almost 6,000 subscribers, 800 videos. Good profile pic. Nice shot there. Banner just says Caffrey. I would maybe try to incorporate your upload schedule here. But other than that, it's a good, clever profile banner. Deep dives into FPS games, what makes them tick, explore the mechanics. Okay, good one-liner there, solid. Homepage layout could be a little bit more robust than putting the videos and the shorts. I'd maybe even potentially add the live stream playlist, and I would add maybe 2 or 3 playlists to this homepage to beef it up. Really solid overall branding on your thumbnails. I think that your Warzone video here just needed a more aggressive title, possibly more aggressive text in the thumbnail. Because you're saying the honeymoon phase is over. Can Warzone continue? You need something much more aggressive than that. Maybe I would say, how would I say it? Instead of the honeymoon phase is over, it's why everyone is abandoning Warzone and how to save it. So that would be for you, Caffrey. I'll be honest. I think when you're going to do commentary on games, you need to write the most polarizing title possible. Like, why everyone is abandoning Warzone. Can this game be saved? Can this game even be saved? Why everyone is abandoning Warzone. Can this game even be saved? That's a really polarizing title, and that's something that people would want to click on. So, that's what I would lean into. I would lean into being more polarizing for that. Are IEMs actually good for gaming? I would add to this hands-on review so that people know and expect. I mean, they should from the fact that you literally have it in your ear. So I would do that. Cold War 2025. How is Black Ops Cold War still alive? Now I'd go more like why Black Ops Cold War is dying, how to revive the franchise. How Black Ops Cold War, sorry, why Black Ops Cold War is dying, how to make Black Ops great again. Be as polarizing as you possibly can. Tips for Delta Force operations, comprehensive beginner guide, updated 2025. For this one, I would actually lead with Delta Force operations, complete beginner guide 2025 and tell exactly what that is. This was a good title for the Black Hat Down Reborn. This is this is actually a decent title. The real problem with goofy skins in Call of Duty. Um, I would have like maybe added "Are they ripping you off?" But this was fine. 1,000 views on this, with 5,000 subs is more than fine. Stakeout's broken. There you go. That's a polarizing tile. Stakeout's broken. Here's how a dev fixes it. Black Ops 6. Great. That's polarizing. Fantastic. So I think your thumbnails are great. I think the best thing you can do is if you're going to do gaming commentary, do gaming commentary. Learn from YouTube commentary and drama channels and make the most polarizing, aggressive title, no holds bar that you possibly can, and incite people to click to care about your opinion, to either have that opinion validated or to debate that opinion. And I think that that's the most powerful and compelling thing you could do when it comes to just getting more views and attention because your thumbnails are excellent. Let's look at live streams. I think that for the live streams, there are gameplay live streams. Um, they can be more polarizing as well. Um, Let's see. I like this playing until I rage and switch to controller. But I would put it's like playing until I rage quit and switch to controller Black Ops 6. I probably would have done that. Um so people understand the concept rage quit. I would have probably made the thumbnail say rage quit because people understand that. Warzone is dead. Back to Apex Legends. Not enough of showing that and versus telling when it comes to that. Um, Maybe it should have been Warzone is trash. Why I'm switching back to Apex Legends. So yeah, those are things that I would consider here. For the shorts, possibly consider custom thumbnails for the shorts. But yeah, those are my thoughts, Caffrey. There's a lot that you're doing well. I would say that your thumbnails and branding is pretty on point. I would say that the big thing for you is I would lean into the polarizing titles. If you're going to do gameplay commentary, if you're going to do gaming commentary, state of play, um, be aggressive. Be aggressive. Like, do not hold back. No one needs a vanilla opinion. Like, no one needs a vanilla opinion. Nobody needs a quote unquote, like, people are not necessarily looking for a nuanced take. You could have a nuanced take in the middle somewhere, but you got to lead with fire and brimstone. What is it they would say in Game of Thrones? You got to lead with fire and blood, right? You got to lead with fire and blood. If you're going to do any type of commentary, you need to be aggressive, have a strong opinion, stand on that strong opinion, have it unequivocally communicated in the title, and then people can click on the video because they can um, either violently agree with you or violently disagree with you. But there will be no quarter given. You see, and so that makes it more enticing. So be a little bit more provocative, if you will, but do not lie and do not do too much hyperbole. That turns people off and then they don't trust you. But those are my thoughts on this channel with regard to a gaming and commentary channel in the first person shooter space. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me about what Caffrey should be doing there? I think his thumbnails are excellent. I just think that the titles are not enticing enough to make the videos a priority and get clicks right now. I think there are instances where he proved he can do that. I just want to see more of that style of title. But what do you think? Let me know in the chat if you're watching live. Let me know in the comment section if you're watching the replay. Time for more hydration. So yeah, let's go back to the chat here, see what we've got going on. Looks like we have some questions added to the chat. So non-super chat questions. So Steven asked, Roberto, thank you for all your work. How do you learn to make landing pages to build email lists step by step? I'm confused on how people do this because it's not taught in school. Excellent question. I recommend kit.com for this. I believe the mods probably have my affiliate link for that. You can sign up for free up to 10,000 email list subscribers. I may have done a workshop if you go into the live streams tab. I may have done a workshop on email marketing. If not, we'll definitely do one in the future. But you can usually find this with tutorials on YouTube. I'll probably do some more in the future. But learning how to do landing pages, if you go to school for marketing, they may cover this. It's been a while since I was in college for marketing, advertising, and design. I hope for what you guys are paying in prices that they are covering this in college, but if they're not, then building landing pages and an email list is definitely something you should look at. One of the other things with kit.com is they do also have a lot of their own tutorials. So they could definitely help you with that. And you'd be able to walk through that and better understand it. And from a strategy standpoint, it's going to depend on your value proposition and your audience. I will probably do a step-by-step tutorial at some point this year, probably before the summer, on email list and landing pages. I've been wanting to promote that anyway, and make a video about that anyway. Stacey Brooks says, would you suggest different style brand thumbnails for your shorts, podcast, and lives? I would want some aesthetic value to them to be consistent in some way to where people could recognize them at a glance. However, I would be prioritizing a style for each individual video that will get it the most views. The thing that I would be consistent on is color and font. I'd be consistent on the style of color and font, but outside of that, I'd be optimizing for what will get the most views on that individual video. Giselle asked, Giselle, Giselle A. Wallace asks, question, Roberto. I'm not growing on Instagram or X, but my YouTube channel grows faster. May you give me some advice? Interesting question. So when it comes to X, you want to definitely reply to people, and jump into and insert yourself into existing conversations, and you all in your niche or your niche neighbors or in general. And what you want to do is you also want to retweet and quote tweet people. And you also want to participate and go on stage in X spaces that have participation from people that you would want to get to know and people that you'd want to interact with. So you'd find those spaces. And then if you're having those interesting conversations, people will follow you and you'll follow each other, you'll interact more, and you can grow from that. If you interact with them, some of their followers will see it and interact with you. So X is really a networking platform, and you, in my mind, you'd approach it the way you'd approach being at a conference or a mixer. And that's what people don't understand. X is like going to a real world social event just online, and you have to cold approach people or interact with people that you want to talk to and literally walk up and insert yourself into an existing conversation that people are having. And then that's how it would work. So that would be what grows you on X. With Instagram, it is aesthetic value for the most part. Usually works best for lifestyle content, product centric content. Um, if it's going to be education, it's going to need to be value driven in terms of interesting graphics and visuals that people want to bookmark and share and download. So you'd go that route with Instagram. I have several thoughts about this. For Instagram videos, it'd be short form videos, and they need to have some outcome in based impact or emotional relatability impact. So that's what you'd want to do. Low cal alert. There are, I think, 2 or 3 channels ahead of you. Late Apex Garage says, do you want shorts listed on channel page or leave them in the shorts feed? You can have them on the channel page. I usually would put them more toward the bottom. Terry asks, if a video gets 5 views in 3 months, any reason to not redo the thumbnail and title to make a tweak to the intro and tighten it up and re-upload? Yeah, you could do that as long as you think the video has evergreen value. So let's see. Yeah, we've got Salon Guy next coming back. Has made some changes and updates to the channel. And then after that, we have Locale Alert. So Roberto, I updated my titles and thumbnail style recently. I think it's helping. Can you take a look, please? Yep, absolutely. We can do that. So we've got Salon Guy here, friend of the channel. Let's look at your thumbnail since that's what you're specifically looking for. Oh, nice job on this one from 11 hours ago. Stop blow drying your hair wrong. And then what's this other one? Why your hair keeps getting thinner and how to stop it. I can see this being an evergreen video for sure. Ooh, this one's doing well. Why your hair looks great at the salon but awful at home. Why your hair is always flat and how to fix it. It looks like you're getting back to your roots, my friend, in terms of, you know, content that people will search for and will look for answers for. Funny story, YouTube gets 3 billion with a B searches per month. 3 billion searches per month. So there's a way to get a chunk of that. People sleep on YouTube Shorts. Now, YouTube search. Shorts get 70 billion views a day. So when people say, okay, well, Shorts get 70 billion views a day. Well, yeah, it's also really competitive. YouTube short search may get less views, but it's also less competitive. It's less fighting for the death. So I do actually like this whole theme that you're doing with black and white and red all over. And I really like these thumbnails with the white background. Um, it makes total sense. And these are clean. I like these. And I could see these doing really well long term. So I see the improvement, my friend. Well done. And I think this gives you a more modern thumbnail style than what you were doing before. I also think that some of the black ones can do well. So it just depends. I would A/B test the black and red versus the white and red, but I think the white and red is stronger by far. Chat, what do you think? And also people in the comment section, what do you think? I think the white background, red text is much stronger by far in terms of a thumbnail style. And I don't think it's even close. I think they're much more attractive. I think they're much more appealing. So that's what I would say. And then these black ones are not bad. I don't like this yellow one at all, if I'm being honest. These black ones, they're pretty strong too. I would A/B test for videos, the black ones versus the white ones, and I would see which performs. So would definitely do that. But yeah, I do think this is a marked improvement for you, my friend, and I think that these videos will do well long term. I think for you, as frustrating as it might be to not feel like you're reaching your subscribers after growing an audience this long, you were early to blow up in your niche, and everybody kind of stole your formats and the things you were doing before. So again, this happens to older content creators, especially people who are early in their niche. So I definitely sympathize with you there. And it sucks that we don't get to reach all of our subscribers. But I do think that going back to search-friendly videos like this long term will pay off for you. So I really do like what you have going on here. I also think for people watching on television screens that these thumbnails will also be stronger. Yep. So those would be my thoughts on the salon guy. I think that this is a big improvement in terms of the thumbnail style. In fact, to give you guys a better understanding of the transition here, let's scroll down a little further just to see what some of the other thumbnails were looking like before. So this is where we were the last time the salon guy was reviewed. So these were the thumbnails before, and now we've moved to these. I think it's a drastic improvement. I don't even think it's close. So great job on the rebrand. I like it. I wonder if for even also the channel banner, it'd be worth a rebrand there as well. Just go much more modern. So those are things that I would take a look at. But well done, my friend. What do you guys think? Do you agree on the marked improvement on this thumbnail style? I think it's actually much better, but let me know. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know in the chat. If you're live, let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. Yep, absolutely. Yep, and it looks like you're getting some feedback. Yeah, the new thumbnail's much, much better. Like, huge. And they feel more modern. Feel good. Looks like we got one space for one more. It looks like we got locale alert. Then we've got keeping it comic, and then we've got totally toasty. So it looks like we have only room for one more tonight, and then we're gonna wrap them up. And then I'm gonna try and catch some sleep. We're in the midnight run now, so I'm going to do that. Rest my voice. All right. So we got locale alerts. All right, so we got locale alert here. Almost 2,000 subscribers. Clips from the worst show on of all YT locale live. Um, I would still spell out YouTube instead of YT, but it's a nit. Excuse me. That's a nitpick. You got the shorts here, videos, popular. I would start to fill out a playlist. So maybe there's a boogie playlist, maybe there's a wings playlist, and then maybe there's a Keem playlist. Um, so let's see, videos. Very smart strategy here overall to be a reaction channel or a clips channel for locale live and be a clips channel for that audience. So it's actually a smart strategy. The titles are right. The thumbnails don't have to be gorgeous for something like this because you are leaning into um, big YouTubers who are controversial. The main thing here is just to post as often as possible, frankly, with regard to this. Um, I think you need a strategy where you are figuring out how to get the most clips out of the show. Because I think the show is once a week. I think you have to get um 5 to 8 clips out of every show. I think you need to find a way, if possible, to go daily. I also think compilations could be good for this. If you can do compilations of like Boogie or Keem or whoever, then that could be good. But also, I think what you really need is you need a consistent style, and by that I mean colors and fonts. I think you need to lean into consistent colors and thought fonts and learn from the great commentary YouTubers of that. From that. So I would at least consistent colors and fonts when it comes to this, because that would make a difference for you. This could be good with the red and the blue as far as inverting those and having two title and font styles with the red and the blue here with the reversed outline. I actually think that that would be really good. I think that'd be smart. So I would go with that branding and it makes sense. Um Banner optional for you. But the good thing about a banner is you could at least declare your upload schedule. So again, pretty solid here, but the main thing would be the consistent branding. Also, if you can from this, daily shorts would probably be ideal here. In your case, shorts thumbnails wouldn't matter. But yeah, daily shorts, daily clips if you can is ideal. I think you need a good call to action on the subscribe from this, and I think you can grow here. I think that with more videos and posting daily, it wouldn't shock me if you could get to 50 to 100 new subscribers a day and grow this. So I think there's an opportunity here. I think that consistent thumbnail branding, at least as far as the fonts and colors, so that your stuff is recognizable and branded, would be good. And then I think just the consistency of uploads of just hitting this aggressively would pay off for you. So overall, those would be my thoughts on this type of channel. But what do you guys think? Do you think that that would make a difference here with commentary? In general, I think with commentary channels, having a recognizable brand is important. When it comes to tabloids, we all know what the National Enquirer like font and layout like really is. So I think that if you're going to do like tabloid commentary TMZ stuff, like TMZ, we know a TMZ branding when we see it. So I think that that is actually really important to keep people coming back and to immediately make your videos a priority and to grow the returning viewership. But what do you guys think in the comment section? Do you agree or disagree with me? If you're watching live, let me know in the chat. So yeah, no problem. Locale alert. I think that that's a solid strategy for you. Um, I definitely think that at the end of all your shorts, by the way, at the end of all your shorts, you should say something like subscribe for more lols. So people have a call to action to subscribe on that. Because shorts, if you call to action to subscribe at the end of every short, channels grow when you do that. It's insane how much they grow. If you ask for the subscribe at the end of every short, you just say something like subscribe for more at the end of every short, your subscribers go up. All right, next we have Keeping It Comic. We're wrapping up. We're getting to the end here. Last call. So yeah, we got Keeping It Comic. I remember you guys. Great branding. Love that for you. No need to update any of this on the branding side, honestly, except maybe the background behind this should probably be the yellow to make it stand out more. Other than that, very strong here. Homepage. Ooh, these thumbnails are baller. Okay. Good, solid playlist being filled out here. Excellent work. If you're taking channel members, I would put a channel members playlist in here so that people know what they're missing. Well done. Before we get to videos, let's just look at shorts. Would definitely recommend. I mean, your shorts, covers are pretty good. But for some of these, I would recommend considering custom frames for these custom thumbnail frames for these shorts, but also these are pretty good by themselves, so maybe it's not as big of a deal. Let's look at the live streams. Really good thumbnails for these live streams. I would just suggest doing the live show more consistently and leaving the replays of these up, but I think this would be really good. So I guess this is a weekly show. And just make sure you also check the podcast playlist for this, and then it'll get more views for sure and some listens on the podcast side. Um, you guys have come a long way in your pivot. Excellent and well done. And these thumbnails are immaculate. I have nothing to complain about when it comes to these thumbnails. Um, and doing the recaps of the best moments in the comic book universes with motion thumbnail like motion comics and overviews, going more the comics explained route is ideal. Rob from the Rob Core Comics Explained would be proud of you. So this is actually a better strategy than the route you guys were going, and definitely going to be better on overall views, evergreen views, views on early to upload. So much stronger approach and strategy here overall. Very clickable for these. And this is excellent for you. So doing this instead of the reviews is brilliant. Going to facts and things people would want to know in shorts, good strategy. If you can get to multiple shorts a week, 3 shorts a week, you could probably grow the channel and subscribers very rapidly. If you get to 3 shorts a week or 1 short a day. And again, if you can do the show 1 to 2 times a week consistently, and as long as the audio is really good and you guys have similar microphone setups, I think that that'll be ideal, and that you can get returning viewers to this. I would just also check the podcast playlist tab for YouTube so that it gets more reach for the live show. But this is excellent. Overall, really strong comeback for you guys with changing the direction of this channel. Very proud of what you've been able to do here. And I think this is smart. From an upload frequency standpoint, man, if you guys can maintain daily, you've got a shot here at a silver play button. Yeah, I think this has silver play button potential if you can make daily videos here, daily shorts, 1 to 2 live streams a week. That's a lot of work, but you guys can get this up to full-time earnings and to a silver play button in the next 2 years if you go aggressive. So, well done. I mean, there is very little for me to complain about and critique here. It's a great example of why pivoting and understanding the audience can be very important. and just deciding, you know what, if something's not working, I'm going to do what's going to work and something I also enjoy, and I'm going to find a way to make this happen. That's like, it's an excellent demonstration of that. But what do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree with me as far as keeping it comic? I think they need to go aggressive here with daily uploads on the main videos. I think do the show once or twice a week, get people coming back for it, upload it, brand it in YouTube as a podcast with the podcast tab in YouTube to get more reach on it and get some audio replays on it. I think daily shorts. On shorts do not hurt regular videos. There's just going to be a disparity in views, and it's just a preference thing. Live viewers are not shorts viewers. Shorts viewers are not video viewers. Just accept that they are different audiences with different preferences and stay out of your head about how many views you should be getting because of how many subscribers you have, and all will be well. All will be well. Do not the shorts do not hurt long form, and long form do not hurt shorts. You can be multi-format. You just have to accept that every format has a different audience. Menus exist in restaurants for a reason. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. Let me know in the chat if you're watching live. Yeah, shorts do not hurt long form views. Bottom line, shorts don't hurt long form views. Every format, different preferences, different priorities, different psychology, different audience. Hell, different traffic sources most of the time. There's not cross contamination here. So just don't worry about it, y'all. I'm telling you, no cross contamination. I showed you guys in analytics, and in other people's analytics, it's the same thing. So don't worry about it. No cross contamination. Don't cross the streams. You're not crossing the streams here. So OG reference for the ones who know. And restaurants have menus for a reason. Some people like the ribs. Some people like the chicken. Some people like the fish. People's preferences don't do anything to the other two. So when it comes to that, it's like, hey, I'm in the mood today. Like, hey, you know what? You might be a beef guy. And you just like, there's nothing wrong with fish. You're just not going to eat fish. You know? And maybe you don't do red meat. So it's either going to be fish or chicken. So maybe you're not going to do the steak. And that's okay. So just kind of take that with a grain of salt there. 1080 versus 4K onward. I mean, it's just down to what makes your life harder as an editor at this point. But I prefer to go, if you could, 4K. I just think it future-proofs your content. All right, we've got Totally Toasty next, and it looks like they probably will be our last review for the evening. We'll see though. All right. So here we have Totally Toasty, 100,000 subscriber channel silver play button holder. Congratulations. 113 videos. Probably going to be a lot of shorts potentially for that. So I would fill out oh no, it could be the long form, probably the long form. So what I would do is I would also fill out your homepage with a few more of these playlists. And I would also look at how all of this looks on uh desktop, mobile, and television sets. I think that a lot of your viewers, you might be surprised. I think 20% of your viewers could be television set viewers, Toasty. So you might want to look into that. Subscribe to the Toast Man, join the Toast team. Um, as far as call to actions, that's not the worst, but if you could tell people either in the banner or here what your content is going to be about or for, then that could be great. Love this for you, man. Like, love the idea of leaning into the skits. This is giving me Caleb City vibes, but in long form, and some RDC World 1 vibes. So love this for you, man. And then this is practical, like the Invincible civilian therapy session leading into the I hate Invincible. Like, this is perfect. So well done. Not surprised you're getting views on that. Very topical. Nice. Also evergreen. Healing factor versus durability. Oh yeah, this is a really funny. I can tell that you are doing excellent comedy. Again, a lot of inspiration here from Caleb City. Also, possibly could be some inspiration from watching um Kane Carter back in the day from the Hot Damn I Rock channel from back in the day. I don't know if you grew up watching Kane Carter stuff, but you also give me a little bit of his vibe. So very smart. This also shows that content in terms of production doesn't have to be over the top in order to be successful, but it can be this like can be very lo-fi, but can really have a broad appeal, and comedy works for this. But you're not being lazy on the thumbnails, which I really appreciate, and I think it's working for you that you're not being lazy on the thumbnails. And then in terms of the production, you're approaching it in a smart way. So the sketch comedy and taking inspiration from RDC World 1, Caleb City, and possibly even Kane Carter does really well here for you. Your titling is also very smart. It's very intelligent. And comedy is the place where you get the most opportunities at variety of content, but it's also very difficult to pull off. Now, the smart thing here is that you're doing videos and you're doing shorts. Shorts will obviously get inconsistent views, but sketch comedy lends itself very well to the shorts format and was originally pretty big on YouTube. What I might suggest for this, especially the ones where you're cosplaying or wearing costumes, is you might consider um, custom thumbnails for these just in case they're showing up on the homepage, but I would check your traffic sources. I could see a lot of your stuff being watched on television. Me and the boys would watch this kind of stuff on Fridays back in the day, on somebody's television. Um, we'd connect the laptop to the TV and we'd watch it on the television before YouTube had an app for it. So that's what we do. But no, this is excellent. Well done on your content. And again, looks like you grew really from long form and the short form was supplemental. So very smart. What I would lean into for this is you're probably already actually really up on this, but there are some new things that you could lean into. Solo leveling. There's a lot of conversation around solo leveling. There is still a lot around Jujutsu Kaisen. So there's some new seasons of anime and shows that you could lean into that would actually resonate and get views. They're about to launch a Warhammer 40K show on Amazon, and there could be some good material from that. So yeah, excellent work here, Toasty. In terms of things that you could do or improve, potentially with your current thumbnail style, some of your older content is so evergreen that it might be worth revisiting some of the other videos with the current thumbnail style just to create some more brand continuity. Also, you probably have recurring bits already, but making recurring bits is also good because if you have recurring bits, you can do compilations later. Also, even with these sketch comedies, you could also do um, a mega compilation video for whichever universe you're covering. Like you could put together all the John Wick videos or all the Dragon Ball Z videos or all the Spider-Man videos. And I would do that not only for playlists, but I would literally edit a bunch of those together sometimes and making it the complete series. Again, taking inspiration from RDC World 1. I would also figure out series that you could do where it's like number one, number two, number three on long form. Again, taking big inspiration from RDC World 1 and what they did with some of their series like Anime House 6 and Gaming House like 5, Hood Olympics number 3, like they do recurring series in addition to one-offs, and those can be incredibly powerful. And then people will also binge watch the ones that are like the complete series or 1 through 6 or whatever, and you get a lot of long form just views out of that, and you get to chock it full of ads and make a lot of money. So those would be my thoughts for you, Toasty. Really like what you're doing here and everything like that. This is the kind of thing me and the boys wanted to do on YouTube back in the day. Um, a group channel doesn't always work out, so that's what happened to our channel back in 2006 is working with your friends doesn't always work out. But yeah, I would definitely say you are really well positioned. I think you can be a 1 million subscribed channel with consistency and with building some series and doing some collaborations. I think you could literally be a 1 million subscribed channel. I also think that what would help you is if you could get your audience to send your content to their favorite React channels, you'll get more people talking about you. And I think that that would be dope. So if you get more people in your community to send your YouTube channel to the big reaction channels on YouTube that react to this sort of thing, you could get much more attention and you could grow a lot more rapidly. I think you have a 1 million subscriber channel potential. I rarely say that, but here, oh, I absolutely see it. I definitely see it. So great job, man. But what did you guys think of Totally Toasty? This is actually the kind of channel I would watch in my spare downtime. Uh, for me, this is the kind of thing that me and the boys used to watch all the time. And we still watch this stuff, and we will send this to our text group. Like, we'll send this to our DM group in Facebook, and, we'd watch this stuff. Like, I'm probably going to send these videos to the boys tonight or tomorrow morning. So, that's the kind of thing. I think also for this type of content, I think for this type of content that the reaction funnel actually works out really well. So excellent work, Totally Toasty. Thank you for submitting a review. It was actually really cool to look at your channel. I think it was a good teachable moment for entertainment channels on in the community because we rarely get a pure entertainment channel. Your content is pure entertainment and it's comedy and it doesn't require a big budget to do it well. So this is the kind of thing that feels a lot more accessible, but you pull it off. It has to be well executed and well done. And I think you've done a great job with it. And the chat seems to agree. But anyway, what do you guys think? If you're in the chat, do you agree? If you're watching the replay, do you agree? Would you do anything differently? Let us know. Boom. That's it. That's all she wrote. Zero sugar. Not sponsored. 0 calories. I'm a man of my word. Yeah. So I really dug that YouTube channel. I think that this was great. Thanks to everyone who submitted reviews. We're not going to do a big song and dance closing out tonight. But thank you to all the mods for supporting. Thank you to everybody in the chat. For asking your audience, Toasty, I would tell them in the community tab rather than a video. I would post that in the community tab. I would do it in your Instagram stories. So I wouldn't do it in a YouTube video, but I would do it there. But good question, good follow-up question. Excellent. Very thoughtful. Yeah. Chat's loving your channel, man. Hey, Mike, what's up? Bigger text that's easier to read. That's something I've noticed a lot of channels could do better with, and something I've improved on my thumbnails is yeah, no, that's super important, Michael. Because of scanning and readability. Also, applies to television viewers because they're further away, as well as mobile viewers because of the smallness of the screen. So ironically, there's not a downside to bigger text. Yep. Yeah, but thanks for that, Michael. Well played. And yeah, let's see. Danny Nugent says, "What's your recommended way to get a YouTube studio to generate $100 a day? Would it likely be Amazon affiliate channel, something like tech reviews?" Oh yeah, absolutely. With buyer intent and what's a realistic timeline? Uh, Tech reviews with buyer intent, with also some individual product, but weekly videos that also are hauls or large numbers of items. Um, like 20 gadgets under $20, 20 gadgets for blank under $20, 15 gadgets for $50 or lower. Doing bundled product reviews is a better affiliate funnel for Amazon for sure. Also better clicks on YouTube. Depends on my pricing. If you see in the Amazon affiliate program that there are items that have $2 to $5 commissions, your best bet is to prioritize anything above $2 to $5, because then the amount of conversions you need in a month to get to your first, or even in a day to get your first $100 would be lower. So to get to $100 a day, you probably need to figure out what in Amazon has a 2, 5, $10 commission. Then you need to make videos where you could have multiple items and where there can be things where people will buy plenty of them in bulk because you're doing 10 best gadgets for blank under $10, 20 gadgets for blank under $20, best 15 blank under $50. If you're doing those type of videos, then the ability, if the conversion payout, if the commission on all of those is, let's just say the average commission was $5, then you just need 20 sales a day to make $100. And what you also probably want to do is do Instagram and do Instagram stories on products and link out in Instagram stories and Instagram highlights. And you wouldn't be linking them to your YouTube channel. You'd be linking them directly to Amazon and setting up the cookies for the affiliate and just getting more affiliate clicks that can get commissions. So that's what you'd want to do in that situation. And that would be powerful. Now, if you have access to higher priced items, like I'm a camera guy, and commissions on cameras and camera gear, there are a lot of 20, 50, $100 commissions, depending on how expensive your camera gear is. Commission on one of these G Master lenses, one of these bad boys, that's going to be a $90 commission minimum. So if I were doing a camera channel, I could make $100 a day a lot easier if I'm targeting buyers for higher end camera gear. So for me, I like to do nature photography specifically. So if I'm targeting people with nature photography, yeah, it'll be less views on YouTube because it's more challenging. It's also very, very, very unique. But if I was doing a channel and I was uploading 3 times a week or more for regular videos, then and I had a once a week podcast for it, and I'm specifically targeting like photographers that do nature and sports photography, for example. They're using higher end camera gear, higher frame rates. They can't use Bobo entry level camera gear to do their shots. You can't do that for birding. For birding, you have to use zoom lenses. So for birding, you'd have to do the 100 to 400 G Master, or you'd have to do the 70 to 200 with an extender, another G Master, or you'd have to do the 100 to 400, the 100 to 400, the 200 to 600. So some of these will be closer to like maybe a 90 to $200 commission. So if I wanted to do $100 a day, I would just do a photography and camera review YouTube channel, but you have to have the object in hand and show that in the thumbnail. And I would be doing that. And yeah, I'd be making 100, $200 a day off of an individual sale. People would be haranguing me because I'd probably get 500 to 1,500 views per upload, no matter how big the channel gets. Like a channel like that, you could have 50, 100,000 subscribers, have like 600 to 1,800 views per upload, even with that subscriber size, and people would harass you until your channel's dying. Meanwhile, you're getting 3 and 5 sales a day on Amazon that end up totaling to like $300 a day in commissions because of how expensive the gear is. So while people would be harassing you about low views and low ad revenue and making fun of you, you'd be cleaning up and making $300 to $500 a day in Amazon commissions by targeting viewers who actually have money in their pockets. And you can't get views on those videos as easily because everybody's broke. And the only people watching your videos would be people who are not poor. So that'd be the gimmick. But like I said, for most people, that's inaccessible because you'd have to be able to afford the crazy camera gear to begin with. So the most viable option for Amazon affiliate would be volume. And therefore, you would literally also just do bulk hauls of items that are budget and price. Therefore, you could, but with good commissions, 2, 5, $10 commissions, so that you could just do volume and then you'd scale that. You make all of it evergreen. You realistically start to turn that around maybe in a couple of months, just because the compounding effect. But the thing is, the longer it goes to over $100 a day. So I would say, probably within a year, depending on your strategy, and as long as you could nail the numbers, probably within a year, if you're prioritizing Amazon affiliate. Yep, we already answered that. Oh yeah, Opus Clip is great. All right. Yeah, Opus Clip is great. mods, if we have my link for Opus Clip, that would be fantastic to drop for them. But yeah. But that's it. Last call. I think we're done here. Thank you to everybody for a great session tonight. Some awesome channels were reviewed. So that was fantastic. Thank you to the mods. Appreciate all of you. We'll try and get you the timestamps. And then mods, I owe you more of my affiliate links. So we'll get you guys those to help out with the chat for everything. But thank you, everybody. You're going to learn a little bit more about Awesome Creator Academy and what we offer in the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group to our members. So shout out to any of them that are in the chat as well. And we will see you guys here next week, hopefully. And also, don't forget to tune in to our Wednesday workshop on education channels. This Wednesday, we already covered entertainment channels. So make sure you catch the replay of that and watch all of our previous workshop episodes for Wednesdays over in the live tab on YouTube. And mods have their Buy Me a Coffee link in their profiles if you guys want to support them. So feel free to do that. Also, don't forget to check out our free Creator Foundations course and the Discord server as well. The Discord server is not how to pick Roberto's brain for $0. The Discord server is so you guys can keep the conversation going, support each other, and it's your open community study hall if you guys want to dive deeper and share information. So it's all for you. The other thing is we're also going to issue challenges through the Discord and assignments paired with the Creator Foundations course. That is a free course that is $0 or whatever you want to donate. It is a pay what you want, pay what you can course. Can be $0, can be $5. So make sure you're checking that out. We also included a 90-minute monetization masterclass from an event that I did in person in New York as a live in-person workshop with people. That event company closed down. So we took the video footage from the event that I recorded personally, and we posted that within the Freak Prayers Foundations course as a bonus. It's a 90-minute monetization masterclass, including real questions and answers about brand deals and sponsorship. So definitely, guys, want to make sure you check that out. Sign up for the newsletter to also get some other great freebies. We'll see y'all here next week. Stay awesome. Bye. Becoming a content creator can be a very lonely process and adventure, but it doesn't have to be. When I first got started going from 0 to 100,000 subscribers, I had to do it all by myself. I didn't have a community of like-minded and like-hearted creators to talk to or to ask for advice, and I certainly didn't have a mentor to guide me along the way. I built the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group because when I was getting started, what would have meant the world to me is not to have to struggle alone when it comes to being a full-time content creator. If I had had a community of creators that I could talk to and share information with, I would have avoided a lot of mistakes in my early career, and there would have been opportunities with brand deals where I would have gotten a better understanding of how to negotiate, and I wouldn't have undersold myself. I wouldn't have been taken advantage of in those early situations. So in the Awesome Creator Academy Pro Group, myself and our co-instructor Andy Rivera, we meet twice a week for office hours with our creators, and we share information, we talk about how we're building our creator businesses, and we offer constructive criticism and critique on the things that we're working on for our projects. You'll be part of a community of usually around 100 like-minded creators who are taking this seriously just like you are. You'll also have all access as a pro group member to all of our past, present, and future courses, training, templates, digital downloads, and swipe files. You have full access to our creator blueprints where you'll see our systems and the frameworks that we use to execute. You always fall or rise to the standard of your systems. A lot of people really underestimate how important that is. We have digital download templates that can help you so you don't have to start with a blank canvas. These done for you files are actually incredibly helpful, especially for things like your thumbnails, your media kits, and anything you need for your branding as a content creator to look professional. We have email swipe files that help you with reaching out to brands. We have great information in helping you price yourself and build your packages appropriately. And remember, as part of the pro group, you have the opportunity to ask questions from myself and all the other creators participating. And so this means that if you need to ask questions about a negotiation or a brand deal, there's something you're not sure about, you're trying to find a better monetization opportunity with merch or affiliates, you have people who have done it before, who are already making money that you can reach out to for advice. As I said, when I was starting out and I was flying solo, this is the thing that I wish I'd had the opportunity to be a part of, and it would have made all the difference in the world in helping me be an even more successful content creator. If you have questions, you can always reach out via support. We're happy to help you figure out if the pro group is right for you. Also, we do have the opportunity if you become a VIP member, if you also would like quarterly one-on-one coaching with me directly. Now go out there and create something awesome today, and hopefully we'll see you in the pro group. Take care.